embark on a visual exploration of makeup's transformative journey. From the subtle shades of the early 20th century to the bold palettes of today, witness the artistry and trends that have painted a century. At the turn of the 20th century, the world of makeup was one of understated elegance. The 1900s saw a preference for a pale and matte complexion, a nod to the societal norms of grace and propriety. Makeup was an art of subtlety, used to gently accentuate rather than to make bold statements. As the decade progressed, hints of change began to emerge. The influence of early theatre and ballet introduced a touch of drama to the makeup palette. Eyeshadows in muted tones and a slightly more pronounced lip colour became popular among the artistic circles. By the end of the 1900s, as the world stood on the precipice of significant change, makeup too hinted at the evolution ahead. While the natural look remained predominant, there was a growing curiosity to explore and experiment. With the foundation set in the 1900s, the stage was set for the transformative decades that lay ahead. The 1910s marked a decade of transformation. With the rise of Hollywood and the allure of the silver screen, makeup began to transition from discretion to declaration. The influence of early cinema was undeniable. Actresses, with their defined brows, kohl-accented eyes and richer lip tones, became the new beauty icons. Women across the globe sought to emulate. However, it wasn't just the world of cinema that impacted beauty trends. The 1910s was a time of societal change and upheaval. As women began to voice their opinions and assert their rights, their makeup choices reflected this newfound confidence. The muted tones of the previous decade gave way to bolder shades, and makeup became a tool of self-expression. By the end of the decade, the world of makeup had evolved significantly. From the demure styles of the early 1900s to the bolder, more expressive looks of the 1910s, it was clear that makeup was no longer just an accessory. It was a statement. The 1910s laid the groundwork for the makeup revolution that would sweep the subsequent decades, with each era bringing its unique flair and style. The 1920s, often dubbed the Roaring Twenties, was a decade of rebellion, freedom, and flamboyance. With the jazz age in full swing, makeup trends took a dramatic turn. Women embraced the flapper style, characterized by its boldness and desire to break free from conventions. The makeup of this era was a direct reflection of this rebellious spirit. Alongside the rise of the flapper style, the 1920s also saw the influence of Art Deco in every sphere, including makeup. Geometric patterns, sleek lines, and a love for luxury defined this aesthetic. Women's makeup began to incorporate these elements, resulting in looks that were both opulent and modern. As the decade progressed, the world of cinema continued to have a significant impact on beauty trends. Hollywood's golden age brought with it a wave of glamorous actresses, each setting new beauty standards. Makeup became more refined, and the emphasis shifted to creating a perfect, glamorous look. The 1920s was a transformative period for makeup, setting the stage for the eclectic beauty trends of the decades that followed. The 1930s brought with it a sense of refined elegance. As the world grappled with the economic challenges of the Great Depression, there was a return to more classic and sophisticated beauty standards. Hollywood continued to be a significant influence, with silver screen sirens epitomizing the ideal look. The makeup of this era was characterized by its polished finish, with a focus on creating a flawless complexion. Despite the economic challenges, the 1930s was also a time of innovation in the beauty industry. New products and techniques were introduced, allowing women to experiment with their looks. The eyes became a focal point, with mascara and eyeliners gaining popularity. The lips, often seen in shades of deep red or maroon, added a touch of drama. As the decade drew to a close, the world stood on the brink of significant changes. However, the beauty standards of the 1930s, characterized by their classic and timeless appeal, remained influential. Women aimed to achieve a look of understated glamour, regardless of the challenges around them. The 1930s, with its mix of classic elegance and innovative trends, set the stage for the dynamic beauty evolution of the subsequent decades. The 1940s was a decade marked by global conflict and resilience. World War II had a profound impact on every aspect of daily life, including beauty standards. With many resources rationed, women had to get creative with their makeup routines. Despite the challenges, the desire to maintain a sense of normalcy and femininity prevailed. The makeup of this era was characterized by its practicality, without compromising on elegance. As the war progressed, Hollywood continued to be a beacon of glamour and escapism. Silver screen icons of the 1940s, with their perfectly coiffed hair and signature makeup looks, provided a source of inspiration for many. The eyes were accentuated with mascara and subtle eyeliners, while lips, often in shades of red, added a touch of classic glamour. As the decade neared its end and the world began to rebuild, there was a sense of optimism and renewal. The makeup trends reflected this positive outlook, with brighter shades and a return to more luxurious products. The emphasis was on achieving a fresh, radiant complexion, symbolizing the hope of brighter days ahead. The 1950s heralded a new era of prosperity and optimism. Post-war economies boomed, and with it came a renewed emphasis on glamour and femininity. The makeup of the 1950s was all about celebrating these ideals. This was the age of the pin-up, with Hollywood stars like Marilyn Monroe setting beauty standards. Full, red lips and winged eyeliner became the signature look of the decade. With the rise of Technicolor in cinema, makeup took on brighter and more varied shades. Eyeshadows in blues and greens became popular, and lips were often seen in shades of coral and pink. The emphasis was on achieving a flawless, matte complexion, complemented by rosy cheeks. As the decade progressed, makeup became more accessible to the everyday woman. The rise of beauty salons and the proliferation of makeup products meant that women could experiment with different looks. The 1950s saw a move towards individual expression, with makeup serving as a tool for personal empowerment. The 1950s, with its mix of classic glamour and individual expression, set the tone for the revolutionary beauty trends of the subsequent decades. The 1960s was a decade of revolution and rebirth. Societal norms were being challenged, and with it came a seismic shift in beauty standards. The makeup of the 60s was bold, experimental, and unapologetically vibrant. The early years saw the rise of the mod look, inspired by the youth culture of London. This was characterized by dramatic, doll-like eyes with heavy mascara and pale lips. As the decade progressed, the hippie movement began to influence beauty trends. Earthy tones, natural complexions, and a focus on individuality became the order of the day. Makeup became a tool for self-expression, with many women experimenting with bold eyeshadows in blues, purples, and greens. By the end of the 1960s, the world of makeup had seen a plethora of trends, from the polished elegance of the 50s to the bold individualism of the 60s. The emphasis had shifted from adhering to societal standards to celebrating individual beauty and expression. The 1960s, with its ever-evolving beauty landscape, paved the way for the eclectic and experimental trends of the decades that followed. The 1970s was a decade of exploration, liberation, and self-expression. The world of beauty and fashion saw a departure from the structured styles of the past, embracing a more relaxed and natural aesthetic. The early 70s makeup was influenced by the hippie movement, with a focus on natural beauty. Earthy tones, bronzed skin, and a sun-kissed look were en vogue. As the decade progressed, the disco era began to shine its glittering influence on beauty trends. Bold eyeshadows in vibrant colours, shimmering highlighters, and glossy lips became synonymous with the nightlife. The makeup was dramatic, reflecting the pulsating energy of discotheques and dance floors. By the late 70s, there was a blend of styles. While the disco influence remained strong, there was also a return to a more understated elegance: soft, smoky eyes, neutral lip shades, and a focus on well-defined cheekbones marked the beauty trends as the decade drew to a close. The 1970s, with its mix of natural aesthetics and disco glamour, was a testament to the ever-evolving nature of beauty trends. The 1980s was a decade of bold, sometimes too bold choices and unapologetic flair. In the world of beauty, this translated to vibrant colours, dramatic styles, and a penchant for experimentation. The early 80s were marked by the rise of the new wave culture, which brought with it a distinct makeup style. bright eyeshadows in neon shades, bold blush draping, and vibrant lip colours became the hallmark of the era. As the decade progressed, pop culture and music icons played a pivotal role in influencing beauty trends. The rise of MTV brought musicians like Madonna to the forefront, setting new beauty standards. Dark, dramatic eyes paired with bold red lips and statement brows became synonymous with the mid-80s glam. Towards the latter part of the decade, there was a shift towards a more polished and sophisticated look. While colours remained vibrant, the application was more refined. Pastel shades gained popularity, and there was a renewed emphasis on achieving a radiant complexion. The 1980s, with its bold colours and ever-changing trends, was a decade that truly celebrated individuality and self-expression in the realm of beauty. The 1990s was a decade of contrasts. In the world of beauty, it marked a departure from the bold and vibrant styles of the 80s, ushering in a more minimalist and understated aesthetic. The early 90s were defined by the grunge movement, with its raw and edgy vibe. This translated to makeup looks that were muted, with matte foundations, brown lip shades, and smudged eyeliner. As the decade progressed, pop culture once again played a significant role in shaping beauty trends. The rise of pop icons and teen dramas on TV introduced a fresher, more youthful makeup style. Glossy lips, shimmering eyeshadows, and thin eyebrows became the signature look of the mid-90s. By the end of the 90s, there was a noticeable shift towards a more natural and radiant look. The emphasis was on achieving healthy, glowing skin with subtle makeup enhancements. Neutral eyeshadows, nude lips, and a focus on natural brows marked the beauty standards as the millennium approached. The 1990s, with its mix of grunge edginess and minimalist elegance, paved the way for the diverse beauty landscape of the 21st century. As the new millennium dawned, the world of beauty embarked on a journey of unprecedented transformation. The early 2000s saw a blend of 90s minimalism with a touch of shimmer and sparkle. Bronzed skin, frosted eyeshadows, and glossy lips were the hallmarks of this era. But as the decade progressed, the rise of social media platforms, particularly YouTube and Instagram, revolutionized the beauty industry. Beauty influencers emerged as the new trendsetters, introducing a plethora of makeup techniques and styles. The mid-2010s were characterized by bold brows, contouring, and highlighters. Makeup became a medium for self-expression, with no limits to creativity. As the decade neared its end, there was a shift towards sustainability and inclusivity. Beauty brands became more conscious, offering a diverse range of products for all skin tones. The emphasis was on natural beauty and embracing one's individuality. Today, as we navigate through the 2020s, the beauty industry continues to evolve. Driven by technological advancements and a renewed focus on individual expression. From virtual makeup trials to AI-driven skincare routines, the future of beauty promises to be as dynamic as its rich past. While makeup has often been dismissed as mere superficiality, it is so much more than a fleeting facade. At its core, makeup serves as a mirror, reflecting not only our individual identities, but also the collective consciousness of an era. It is a testament to how people perceive themselves and the world around them. The colours they choose, the styles they adopt, and the techniques they perfect are not just about aesthetic appeal. Instead, they are influenced by societal norms, cultural shifts, and historical events. Thus, the history of makeup is not just a tale of beauty trends, it is a chronicle of human evolution, aspirations, and expressions. It offers profound insights into the zeitgeist of each decade, revealing more than just surface-level details.